Is anyone interested?
Yes,
Sign all the forms.
This meaning that you take responsibility for what you've done on
Camera.
But you do need to watch all the videos and agree to the terms, okay? Otherwise, the contract will be automatically terminated, and your coaches That's how you enter and exit. Hi, and thank you for signing up. Remember, you can terminate this at Being terminated with any violations of the terms of contract. That means your behavior, words, and actions do matter. This is where I'll keep you updated. They only last for 24 hours, which reminds you to check periodically, at least once in every 24-hour period. Yet at the same time, recognize that you don't have to be involved in this arena using technology.
We all have to do what our consciences tell us to do. And Dan Coates, as the Director of National Intelligence, is somebody who I also respect. If I were in those positions now, I would express my objection privately to Mr. Trump and have a conversation with him about just how bad this is for the community and for the national security and intelligence professions. As a result of that conversation, I would have to decide then whether or not I could stay in my position.
So you're saying that you would understand if somebody objected to what happened to you but stayed in the position, it's better for me to stay here, be a guard?
Rail. I think that's what a lot of these very senior officials are trying to reconcile in their own minds. How much they stay and be governors on Mr. Trump's...
Well, so you start living differently. You start walking a little more prideful, realizing the expectation of those far to the eye can see. Excuse me.
Sorry about that.
No, you're fine.
You're very beautiful.
Oh, thanks. Keep walking, yo. People will say whatever they want to say. That easy. Keep walking, yo. See? Don't slow down. You want me to dice it, shred it, julienne it, in order to make sound of a decision. No precision. It's a constant division between people.
What do all of them have in common? Why are those the 10 people they're signaling out, in your opinion?
Because they've been critical of him.
I'm going to just erase it.
In the case of Bruce Orr, a current Department of Justice.
Finding a way to get this out without making a conscious
That is the
choice.
problem, and that's what I'm realizing.
The whole issue with all of it. Because you don't want to deal with it, but that's the problem with victimhood, learned helplessness. It's not a choice to do that. The external sensory. That means the environment. That means the words and stuff coming at me. When somebody doesn't have responsibility for what they say, as long as I say that's why the news is triggering in every single way. Replay it in my own head as a rewind. To go ahead and what's the word? Not so sick of it. Overwhelm the system so that the body can't react. I make this a public thing because, like I said, the thing that a victim can't have is hiding.
Official. I think that is one of the most outrageous steps that he could take to revoke the clearances of a current government official simply because he doesn't like either them or their spouse.
With a eraser, which leaves a gray line.
So antithetical to what has been the practice and what has been the tradition and what needs to continue to be the basis for the granting and the revoking of security clearances so that you trust people with those secrets.
Yeah, I'm curious.
You trust people with those secrets. It's hard for me to read Mr. Trump in terms of the actual...
How many reminders? And when I'm doing a flow, we're going to be talking about everything that needs to happen, but doesn't. It's called motherfucking respect.
Now I'd like to talk about how to fix it. Which means, again, I'm just going to talk about it. Every time a PTSD memory comes up, I'm going to discuss just trying to deal with it. There is fear here. It brings back to those children's tears, but not just because they were self-harming and screaming and going after other recognition that once they realize there's no consequence for them, they can do whatever they want, but what they really want is help. They want to be in a different situation. They're not aware of their own mental health, but adults are. That's why we have systems set up to avoid frustration of attention and concentration. So we diagnose, we label, we sensory integration problems. You're on a spectrum. We understand that collaboratively working, yes, these words come in different order. It is a disorder of time and confusion, but at the same time, I recognize, only because I'm forced to explain, and the conversation is a brain drain, that I'm being put back there
But I think it was a clear signal to others who still have their security clearances, both in the government as well as outside, that if you cross him, if you speak out against him, he is going to use whatever tools he might have at his disposal to punish you. Another example of his egregious abuse of power and authority.
Does seem counterintuitive. But the point is to also use it for a purpose. So for the next 30 days, you will be part of a program designed to trauma.
Everything I do with my voice, you see, it's not a choice, it just comes out.
My only objective has been to improve the safety conditions for students that were treated inhumanely. My opinion is from 12 years of education and 9 years teaching special education in a Chicago public school in a very posh neighborhood with attitudes and behaviors I did not know could exist in such a nice place, right?
His administration put out last year in terms of the basis for revocation.
I'm going to disperse my story into 10 different areas of literacy as I finish writing 3 parts of one final curriculum that will have to do with physical assault or trauma, mental psychological abuse and trauma, sexual, which are the seeds for the next part of my life, which I'm going to also be sharing live. The objective is to arm ourselves against trauma and individuals who traumatize because they are incapable of being human and have qualities that are salvageable. After revealing patterns of behavior and thinking that truly hurt people needlessly.
I've got it now. Kapow.
He is going to use whatever tools he might have at his disposal to punish you. And so I think this is yet another example of his egregious abuse of power and authority.
I've got it now. Kapow.
He violated the process that he himself, his administration, put out last year in terms of the basis for revoking security clearances.
And repeat over and over, because I'm never going to be defeated in the, knowledge that I've discovered forced upon me, their hypocrisy. See? I don't want to talk in rhyme, so I'm going to try this in real life time, because speaking to people is really hard. Never felt self-conscious before. So whatever you call this, these shards, everything is a visual, everything is imagery, everything is impact on my body. Just got a phone call, gave me some information about how the world sees individuals like me. Let me try to talk more clearly. Chronic pain and suffering. The rule is that I'm creating my own distraction. What's safest are the voice that I can use to try to get through this. So as I organize the worst of it, combating the memories flying up at me, because everything is going back in time.
To distract the press from some of the other things that were going on last week.
Organize the worst of it. Can you use this? Can you